We've just come back from our after Christmas summer vacation in the camper here in Australia, fully off grid, and pack up was in the rain, so I'm in my garage at the moment with the 270-degree awning just drying. Anyway, I did a lot of upgrades before we went away. Some were needed, and those items that we needed I've put off buying because I just didn't know what to buy and I was umming and ahhing and blah blah blah. Typical me procrastinating over that stuff. Other items were just, oh, let's take the opportunity to do this because it's stuff that I really wanted to do. Disclosure, all of these items, nothing sponsored. I've had no discounts off anyone. The only discounts I have had are either on Black Friday sales or pre-Christmas sales. Some of those purchases are quite minuscule, others have been quite expensive. But I thought today we'll just run through what I've bought, quick overview of everything and my thoughts, and some of these items I will do a video on because I think they deserve their own little video. So stay tuned. Happy 2025 everyone. I hope the year is absolutely fabulous for all of you. If you're new here, my name's Daryl. This is my camper that I've built, and we've got some upgrades that we've done that are either attached to the camper or involved in camping life. Now my overall spend on all of this equipment is probably somewhere between $2.5K mark, and you think, oh, that's a lot of money, but offset that against staying in a caravan park at this time of year in Australia. Anywhere on the coast is super expensive, and before I made the booking on the HIP campsite, I did have a quick look on some of the caravan parks, and for a powered site you were looking somewhere between $700 and $900 for 7 days. This HIP campsite cost us $170. You know, you look at that and it's like, well, half the money I've spent we've got back already because we didn't go to a caravan park. And when we went into town and looked at the caravan parks in there, it was like, oh, thank God we didn't go there because these people are just jammed in because of the time of year. I don't mind staying in a caravan park every now and then because I tend to find that they're on awesome locations, but this HIP camp was superb, and waking up to the cows mooing and the like, it just made the holiday. Anyway, let's get into this gear that I've bought. First up, we'll look at some small stuff that, while small, wasn't cheap for the galley in the kitchen, but it's really made a difference to how we pack and use items. So what have I upgraded? Well, first up, cutlery, knives and forks, cooking implements. What I've tried to do with this is try to get stuff that packs really well, so packages well, it's lightweight, it's high quality, cleans well, and will last quite a while. As such, these items aren't the cheapest items in the world, and I think I got them at 30% off, so I'm not going to argue. The place that I've bought all this stuff from is called Suita Summit. They do a whole range of gear for slooping and cooking, and it's mainly for hiking, but they've expanded into the, as they call it, the car touring market. They've got a range of stainless steel gear, which is what I've bought, so let's just have a look at what I've purchased. I was after a couple of good knives. That's a kitchen knife. These things are super sharp. They come with a silicone guard over them, so they won't rattle, they won't wear against each other, and it keeps them super sharp, and you don't have to worry about cutting yourself, which is great. But really nice piece of kit. It's nice to use in your hand, and I've got a smaller kitchen paring knife. Now these things, as I said, super sharp, work really, really well. Full stainless steel, very light, very happy with them. The next items that I've bought are cutlery sets for both of us. You know, there's only two of us. These are all stainless steel. They all fit together really nicely, and there's a silicone sleeve that goes around them. So again, they don't rattle, but they also just hold together really nicely. So we've got two of those, but they're quite nice to eat with. Sometimes this sort of stuff isn't nice to use, but this stuff is quite ergonomic. Very happy with it. Again, the knife works well, can't complain about any of it. The next item is kitchen implements. Normally you've got all of this stuff floating around, but this just puts it in one piece that's held together. Again, silicone sleeve, holds it together, doesn't rattle. But if you pull off the sleeve, we've got a set of tongs, we've got a spatula, and that's got a bottle opener in it. We've got a pasta fork, and we've got a ladle. So basically everything you'll probably need for going away, and again they all just fit together really nicely. And the silicone sleeve goes around the end. Again, these things weren't the cheapest things in the world, but they work really well. And it's not something you buy every 5 minutes, so I'm okay spending the cash on them. There they are, all packaged up, ready to go again. Now this is a teapot. Silicone sides, folds down on itself, so it takes up no room at all. Stainless steel bottom, stainless steel lid. The lid has a silicone handle and a silicone seal on it. To use, pull it up. It's a really cute little teapot, and the water boils super quick on the induction hot plate. It's not hot to carry around. It's not the sort of thing that'll rattle in the galley, cause damage or anything, but it's quite sizable in itself, and when you're finished with it, you just fold it down and pack it away. Really, this by itself is really nice. Fry pans. Fry pans are a bit of a drama to use a lot of the time. Because of the handles, they're hard to pack. This is a full stainless steel fry pan. The handle folds up as such. When you want to use it, you just pull the handle out and we're good to go. Nice heavy base. The only problem, I've had a few problems with this, I'll be honest with you. I haven't cooked with too much high-end stainless steel. It's 304 stainless steel, I think. I haven't cooked with too much stainless steel before, and there's a bit of an art to it. I haven't got that yet. And when I came home, this was in a bit of a state. So I've had to clean it all up. Bartender's Friend, I found, was really good for it. But it's cleaned it up like new, and I'll have to do some research and preparation with it before we go away next time. But when you're finished with it again, the handle just slides in and it folds up into a fairly small unit, which is what I'm after. Now this gadget here, again, there's a lot of silicone, all folds up, stainless steel bottom, sides. Again, handles hold it all together. It's a really nice little unit. The handles come out when you want to use it. You just turn them around. Stainless steel lid. Again, silicone handle, silicone seal on that. Inside it, we've got two cutting boards. You know, these are the hard plastic cutting boards. The beauty with these things is you can also just keep one for a cheese platter, which, as Donna says, cheese is a meal. Then you lift out this. This is a colander, all silicone colander, but that will do the job for any sort of pasta dish or the like that you're using. And this is a pot. So it just pushes out, fairly decent sized pot, so you know, anything you want to cook in a pot, you can do that. I also use this for a few other items. I use this to wash up in. Previously we were carrying around a fairly large sink, and it wasn't heavy, but it took up a lot of room. This does everything that we need. So I don't see the reason why we should have anything other than this. I also use this for a salad bowl. You know, why would you carry around a salad bowl when you can carry around this? So it serves a multitude of uses other than just a pot. But again, when you're finished with it, it just folds up and everything just goes back together really nicely. So you can see the packaging savings that you can save by having one of these. Again, this stuff isn't the cheapest stuff, but by the same token, it's also not stuff that you're going to buy every second week. I look upon it as you buy once, cry once. But again, this is all from Sea to Summit, no affiliation. It's just damn good gear. So as you can see with what I've purchased, we've brought down the stuff that we need to carry for our galley. We've pared it down a lot and into small packaged stuff. So it's been really, really good. moving on. When we go away, I don't mind going to bed at night and watching a movie. And previously we've been using our laptops, or I did have a more small iPad mini mounted in the cab. Great resolution, great picture, and we'd stream stuff from our phones or the laptop. And but we did find that it was a little bit like, you know, watching something small. So what I've done is I've taken that out and I've replaced it with a 25-inch multimedia TV. It has Google TV, it's all app based. The only problem I've got is here in Australia there's a couple of apps called, one called Binge and one called KO. KO has sport, Binge is just like another Netflix. But because this has Foxtel built in and they're Foxtel companies, they can't use those apps at this point of time. But everything else is there. Netflix, YouTube, all the things that you want to watch, all the free-to-air catch-up services. What I've done with the TV, I've mounted it on a swivel inside, a removable mount. And I've also put a mount outside. If we want to watch the news while we have some dinner, you can just mount it outside. It plugs into a 12-volt power supply, which I've got inside and outside, and just works a treat. Really good picture, high definition, can't fault the TV. The only thing I'll say with the TV is that sometimes you'll press the button on the remote and it's not as quick as like your home TV. There's a little bit of lag there. Sometimes, not all the time. Most of the time it's pretty good. This TV will connect up to an antenna if you've got one. I don't have anything. I tend to just stream everything. And that's what we're doing. How are we streaming it? It'll come up next. Now the next item I wasn't going to buy, but they came in at $2.99 pre-Christmas. They reduced the price from $5.99. Starlink Mini. This thing is absolutely superb. Easy to set up, you just register it on the app. Now I just plugged this into 240 volt. I did order a 12 volt cable with it, but it didn't show, and I still don't have it in the new year. This thing turned up super quick. It was like within the week I had it. You just register it on the app. I plugged it into 240 volt. I just chucked it on top of the Max Tracks, on top of the cargo box at the front of the camper, and off it went. And it's got its own inbuilt router. You just connect to, name your router the same as you do at home, connect to that. I've connected the TV to it, our phones. So if you don't have phone coverage, your phones just go through this. It just works superbly. The TV, we're streaming movies and the like, no issues whatsoever, no buffering, no nothing. And love him or hate him, Englaon has made a superb little gadget here. The speeds we're getting out of this are comparable to the fibre to the home speeds we're getting at home. And we're sitting out in the middle of a farmer's paddock with cows all around us and no reception. You know, watching Netflix inside with no buffering at all. Yep, absolutely gorgeous little gadget. The only thing is cost to run it. You get 50 gigs of data for $80. Any more data after that, I think, was at $1.40 or $1.50 a gig, which is okay. We used all the 50 gigs in the time we were there. I think we used another 10 gigs on top of that. However, when you come home, we're not going away at this point of time in the next month, so you can just pause the service and you just go into the app, slide it across and go, I want to pause this service, and when you want to start it again, you just restart it, pay another $80 for another month, and you've got another 50 gigs. To me, I think that's okay. You may think differently, but I'm wrapped. This is an awesome little gadget. The only thing I do have to do is when the 12 volt cable comes, I will get a connector so I can just plug it in on one side of the box. So at the moment I've got to leave one of the gull wing doors open. And from a safety aspect too, if you're travelling areas where you have no phone reception, a lot of people are mounting these on top of their vehicles and they've got phone reception wherever they go on the planet. The other thing that I've upgraded in the camper is the inverter. I did have a 1500 watt inverter from King's. It was cheap and it was nasty, but it worked, and it worked quite well. It was quite noisy. The fans would turn on and it was quite noisy. I've purchased a 3000 watt Renogy inverter. It is quiet as a mouse and it just does what I ask it to. And I'm not thinking now of, oh, can I have this on and turn that on, will the inverter cut out? I haven't worried about that this time. So you can come back from the beach, you can turn the AC on, you want a cup of tea, you can turn the induction hot plate on. It all just works, it all works seamlessly, and I haven't heard the fans come on in this thing. It is quiet as a mouse and it just works, as I said. So very, very happy for that. How I work it in the camper is that I've just got it connected to the batteries. I've then got an extension lead that if I want to plug the camper in completely and have 240 volt throughout the camper, I run the extension lead from the inverter back to the 240 volt input in the camper, and then I've just got one of the home 10 amp to 15 amp converters that's got an RCD between it. So if anything happens, that'll flick off. There's also an RCD in the camper, so if anything happens, that'll safeguard the rest of it. But it just worked and worked superbly. I just had that connected all the time. Renogy inverter comes with a remote on a cord. I'll mount that at some point, but at this point it's just the remote's just sitting inside this side of the camper box door. Yes, I really would have liked it to connect to the Red Vision system, but hey, I didn't want to pay 4 or 5 times the amount to get a Red Arc inverter that would. I just don't see it's worthwhile. You know, if I can open the door here and still just press a button, so be it. It does everything I want it to. So very happy with that. The next set of stuff, it's changed our camping when we're long-term camping, like for more than a night or the like. It's all Joolca stuff. We've got a hot shower, we've got a shower tent, we've got a toilet. The reason I've gone with Joolca is their stuff just seems really good. You know, you watch the very slick advertising they do. I quite enjoy some of their advertising. It's a bit left of centre. You watch other people using it and it just seems to work and work well. There's always naysayers out there, but no product is perfect. But these products have worked really well for us. First up, shower tent. We had the option of hanging a shower tent off the side of the camper. I get if you've got an overlanding vehicle and you do that because it gives you somewhere to get dressed in, it gives you a hot shower, you can put your toilet there. But we were after something more that if we pull up for multiple days, that we can have a place to have a shower, a place to use the toilet. And with the Joolca stuff, I've bought the triple room annex. We've now got a place to store items that's not in the camper. Things like the bags that all the items you bring in the camper come in, like tent peg bags and things like that, we can actually store those in the triple shower annex, which is really good, and it also gives us somewhere to get dressed if we want that's not in the camper, so we can have a shower, come out, stand up, get dressed, we can hang items in there, we can dry towels in there. It's really, really good for that. What we've also done now, because we have this, is that we haven't taken away the extension room we have outside the camper. So we've got the Darchi annex that goes under the 270-degree awning, and if the weather is inclement or cold, you may still want that, but when it's the middle of summer, you don't really need it, and by not taking that, it's freed up some room in the rest of the camper. The main piece of gear, or the largest piece of gear, is the annex. This comes in a bag yay big. Now, at the moment, my options to carry that are, it will fit across behind the seats in the Jeep, fine, there's no problems about that. It fits across there, okay, and that's where I've carried it, because I don't like carrying things on the bedding in the camper. Especially if we were doing a touring holiday, staying at multiple stops getting to places and then staying for a time at a place. I'd rather have it in the Jeep than inside, and a lot of people don't get this with these campers. You see some ads for people selling these or promoting these campers, and you can load up the inside like a box trailer. That may be fine, but if you have an overnight stop, you have to unload it all. The beauty with these campers is if you're stopping somewhere overnight, you can just stop, crawl in, job done. You can go to sleep. So I don't like loading up the inside, and it also gets stuff on the bed. Don't like that. So this fits behind the seats, the front seats in the Jeep, fine. I just don't like putting it in there. I'd prefer it was all in the camper. But this is quite a large bag. As you can see, it's not that heavy. The beauty though with this tent is that the tent is already on the poles. It's already clipped there, it lives there. And when you take it out of this bag, which is an oversized bag, which I wish more manufacturers would take on board, it's easy to get out of its storage bag. It's actually easy to get back into its storage bag. You still have to sort of pull the storage bag around it, but you don't have to fight with zippers to do it up because the bag is so tight around it. So you take it out of the bag, you swing all the poles out, you extend the legs on the poles, and then you just peg it in. The things that I've found wrong with this when erecting is the same things you find with every item you buy. They come with cheap pegs. So I've just got rid of those, didn't bother with them, and I've bought a set of screw-in pegs. I've bought 8, which does to peg the corners down, and it does to put the guy ropes out. And everything with this camper, if I've got to put a peg in for a guy rope or anything like that, they're all screw-in pegs, and I just take a drill with me and just put them into the ground, and it works a treat. It's quick, it's easy, you don't have to worry about hammering in pegs ever again. So that's the downside I've got with this. Apart from that, I've got no problems with erecting and disassembling this tent. It's all very easy. You know, watch one of Joolca's videos, they'll show you how to do it. Apart from putting the tent up, there are 2 small poles you put in, and the rest of it you can just leave in the tent. There's a mesh holder that goes in the shower area that you can put items in while you're showering, like shampoo and the like. You can just leave that in there. I've left that in there. So basically, to erect this, take it out of its bag, unfold it, extend the legs, you know, peg it all in. The guy ropes, again, Joolca's done a great job with this. They live in little pockets with a bit of Velcro on. Undo the pocket, unfold the guy rope, put it in, reverse the procedure when you pack up. Joolca are great at accessories, so they'll sell you a base model item, and then if you want other things you can buy them. So I've bought the shower cap that goes over this, which was good because while we were away it did rain, and we did, as I said, we did have to pack up in the rain. I could take the shower cap off and the top of the tent was dry, so didn't have to worry about that, although the rest of it I have put up when I've come home, and we'll go into that later. Now, to go with the shower tent, we've been exceptionally indulgent. Joolca put out a shower tray, a fold-up shower tray with timber slats on. You may poo-poo the idea. I looked at it and thought that is absolutely brilliant, and my partner sort of went, oh, I don't know if we need that. And when we were using it, it was like, oh, this is so good. Because you're not standing in water having a shower. I mean, it's like a yacht. You stand on these slatted pieces over a tray. The only problem with this shower tray is that it's reasonably heavy and it's another bag to carry. Worth it for a bit of luxury? That's up to you. It's a good bag, it's a waterproof bag, because generally when you pack this up, it'll probably be wet. So when you bring it home, you're going to have to take it out. With both the shower tray and the shower tent in the shower section, there was soap scum on both bases. So I did have to put up the tent when we come home. I did have to put up the shower tray, and I had to clean both floors. Not a problem. I just got a bit of car shampoo, put it in a bucket, went over the floor, hosed it down, and it was done. The good thing with the shower tent is in both the shower area and the toilet area, around the edges of the floor is mesh, so any water in there will just drain out. So when you're cleaning, you can hose out those sections and the water will just run out. And they've actually put a pull in the middle of the floor where you can just pull up and everything just goes to the sides and runs out. It's absolutely brilliant. Again, those little things that Joolca think of. With the shower tent, as I said, we were storing some stuff in there. Storage in that change room is really good. It's got a section you can hang your towels over, or if you've got things on coat hangers, you could put them there. On the roof, it's got a mesh pockets where we put all our toiletries, and you could just get out what you wanted before you went into the shower, and again when you came out you just put them back into the pockets. We really love the triple ensuite shower tent with the 270-degree awning up so we can get out of the sun. Just sitting under that and being able to just go into the shower tent was absolutely brilliant. And with the shower tent there was heaps of windows that you could zip open, screens in the roof, in the walls. You could let it breathe during the day. It was really nice. And you could also sit in the loo with the window open, or have a shower with the window open and look out at the countryside. I mean, it was really decadent. Loved it, absolutely loved it. So that's the shower tent and the floor. For the hot water system, we've got Joolca's hot water system. Lots of videos online about that. However, I've hard mounted it to the front of the camper. Joolca also, in their wide range of accessories that you can buy, have a removable mount for it. So I've got that, I've mounted it to the front of the camper. They've also got a cover that goes over the hot water service that makes it waterproof while you're travelling. I've got that on. So the actual hot water service now lives on the front box of the camper, and I also made sure that while I was mounting that I could mount the shower tent at 90 degrees to the camper, and all of the hoses for the shower were long enough, which they were. So it's worked out really well. At the front of the storage box on the camper at 90 degrees we can have the shower tent. You just run all the hoses into all the special holes they've got in the shower tent for them, and it's pretty quick to set up. Also from Joolca, in their accessory department, which I delved into quite deeply as you can see, they sell a bag where anything to do with all the hoses, the shower rose, the stop start button for the shower, the gas bottle connector, everything lives in here. So we've got 3 bags for the shower and the shower tent. So we've got the shower tent, a bag for that, we've got the timber slat floor, and we've got this. The hot water service lives on the front box of the camper, and we don't need to take that off. All we need to do is click all the hoses in, run the hoses into the special holes in the shower tent, and just clip in the hoses to the shower rose, and that just hangs off a hook. Works really well. I can't really fault it. With this Joolca hot water system, you also need a gas bottle to run it. You'll see lots of people online using these massive gas bottles. You don't need it. The only flame that's in that hot water service is a flame that's heating the water as it passes over it. And you're only running that when you've actually got the shower going. So Joolca give you a hose that'll connect up to a gas bottle. They also sell an accessory hose that connect up to these 465 ounce hiking gas cylinders that Coleman do. These are supposed to be a one-use cylinder, but you can buy an adapter that you can refill these from a larger gas tank. And you'd wonder about how long these would last when you go away. We use these for 5 days. 2 showers a day each, and there's still a bit in here. I don't see why you'd be carrying around a large gas cylinder for this hot water service when you can just carry around a couple of these. And if you've got the adapter and a larger gas cylinder for whatever else, you could refill these from the larger gas cylinder in the field. It's a really clever idea to use these. The other item you have to power with the shower is the pump that pumps the water out of wherever you're getting the water from. From us at this time, I'm using two 20-litre jerry cans full of water. With regards to water usage, we're probably using about 5 litres at a minimum per shower, and that's, you know, getting wet, soaping yourself up, and then washing it all off you. And that would probably include me washing my hair too. Minimum 5 litres, a nice decadent shower is probably 10. So you can work out your water usage there. With regards to running this pump, as I said, I'll probably wire that into the camper, but at the moment I'm just using, I've got a Dometic 40 amp lithium battery pack here, and whilst we were away it used over 5 nights, it's 40 amp and there was 61% left in the battery. So you know, less than 20 amps we've used, which is pretty good. But if you have a look at Joolca's website, they actually sell a small battery for this purpose, and it's about 199 bucks, but it's just a pocket battery, and I dare say it could live in this hose bag. So basically everything you need for this hot water service could live in that hose bag, and you could plug it into your car when you go for a drive, and probably half an hour to an hour it'd be fully charged again. So if there were 2 of you and you got 5 days out of the portable battery pack showering, and then whilst you were travelling you charged it up here now and then, you could go indefinitely with just this bag full of your gear. The only thing I'll say with the shower was it took us a while, and it was probably a day or 2, to get the settings right with temperature, because you can adjust flow and you can adjust flame. So if you have more flow, you'll probably need a bit more flame, or if you run the flow right down, it'll be too hot, which is what we found a couple of times. I was trying to get it to the point where it's like, okay, where are we efficient with water, and the shower was just far too hot, even though we turned it down a lot. So there's a bit of playing around there with that. In the end, it was fine, and it was like, oh, this is perfect every time we turn it on. The shower was awesome. Where it hangs on the hook, I found that it could swivel sort of to one side, so there was, whilst we had this tray in there, it'd sort of direct to one side, and if you played with how it sat in its fitting, you could sort of centre it quite well. But they were the only negatives I could find with regards to the shower. The shower was gorgeous, loved it. Can't say enough things about it. So with regards to the shower tent, the hot water system from Joolca, big thumbs up from me. I've never had a camping toilet before. I'm more a shovel and a roll of toilet paper guy, but those things are kind of frowned upon nowadays. I looked around, didn't like anything that I saw. You look to a lot of caravans, because a lot of leading edge caravan guys, you'd think, well, they know what they're doing, and a lot of those are going for composting toilets. But the difference between composting toilets in caravans and composting toilets in camping is the caravan toilets have a winder on where you can churn things up, because in a composting toilet you want to be churning stuff up, everything's getting rolled in whatever the composting is, and in a camping toilet you've got to shake it around, and that really didn't appeal to me. But anyway, the Joolca got to go. There was a lot of media about it. I kind of liked what I saw, and it's one of these toilets that separate wee from poo, basically. So if you're a guy, you're going to have to sit down on this thing unless you're a really, really good aim. With regards to this, with your poo containers, they do 3 options. You can get a bag to catch your poo. You can get a composting unit, which is basically just a bucket that you'd put in some wood chips or peat moss or whatever you're using, do a poo, and then put another layer over the top of it and continually do that. As I said, the caravan guys seem to think that you need to churn it, and from what I've read, you do need to churn this up, so you're just not layering. so you'd actually have to shake it up. They also do a chemical cassette to go in these things. So, and you can buy these cassettes at any time. If you can talk her indoors into having a chemical toilet, and later on it's like, well, hey, let's try the composting one, you can just introduce that. You can buy the cartridge and introduce it and say, this is what we're doing. But I ran that past on her, and it was like, I'm not doing bags and I'm not doing composting, we'll have to buy the chemical toilet, which it was like, that's fine, I'm okay with that. You put in 4 litres of water and I think 100 mils of a chemical. I used an eco chemical thinking, well, that's a bit greener. I don't know if that was a good thing or not. We've run into a problem, and I didn't know what the problem was until I went to empty this cartridge at the dump point, which these dump points can get quite busy, so it was a little bit embarrassing. With toilet paper, you need a toilet paper that will just break apart, and our luxury toilet paper from home didn't do that. So you swivel the nozzle out and undo that, expecting everything to come out. Not much come out. In the end, at the waste station, I had to open the big hole, fill it full of water from the hose, shake it around and tip it all out through there, which really wasn't a problem, but it was like, okay, we've got to learn to get a toilet paper that will pull apart when it gets into this sludge. There was no smell the whole time we were there. We had to empty the wee container out after about 4 days. They say the chemical cassette you'll get about 21 days. The composting cassette, they say you may get half of that. I don't know about that, but I do know we had to empty the wee container out, and I just took that into town and dumped it down a public toilet, so there was no problems at all. Now this is the Joolca Gotta Go. She's a fairly big beast, but it's a good height to sit on and contemplate the world or look out the window. A lot of the toilets I looked at, they were more compact than this, but you were squatting a lot more. So this is the top section of the Gotta Go. Underneath here you can see the holes for liquids and solids. Everything stores really nicely. Now there's a spray bottle here for the bowl, and when you're doing a poo, you have to spray this solution onto the bowl to provide a lubricated surface so things will flow down. Now I've read some stuff online where there's been a whole heap of people going, oh, this isn't a really good bottle, I've got my own. I found this pretty good. You fill this 50-50 full of vinegar and water, white vinegar and water. It actually smells okay when you use it. It's probably a light disinfectant, but I found that the mist that came out of this, it lubed up the poo bowl pretty good. And if there was ever a slight whiff of urine when I got in there, I'd just spray it on the front bowl and it all went away. Like it was quite a nice toilet to use. This thing here, I love this. Joolca have a sense of humour. This is a poo stick, and this is for if poo doesn't go down into the hole. So if poo stays on the bowl, you can put a bit of toilet paper around the end and use the poo stick to push it down, like billiards or snooker. It was like, yep, you know, brown ball in the corner pocket. Oh, I just love Joolca for that. The only thing I will say is, online there's been a lot of people that say this doesn't click into the hole. There is a raised section, and when I first took mine out, it didn't click back in. I pushed through on one side a little bit against that raised section on the opposite side of it, and it now clicks in absolutely perfectly. There's also a slot on this, and on the base unit there's a hoop that comes out, and that will just hang on the side of the unit along with the spray bottle. So it works really, really well. Now this is the base unit of the Gotta Go. As I said, this section here comes down. That gives you your wire loop. You can hang the poo stick and the spray bottle off. These are the two cassettes. This is the urine cassette in the front. That's got a cap for travelling. When you arrive at your destination and you want to put it in use, take that off, put this one on with the hole on and transfer them across. This also has a gauge at the front which will tell you how full the urine unit is. I found it was pretty good. It was like, ooh, we need to empty that today. I've heard some stuff where people say on the bottom of the base unit you will get some urine underneath it. I found that there was very, very little amount, and I just got some toilet paper, sprayed it with the vinegar bottle and just wiped it off. When I've come home, I've cleaned the whole thing. To be honest, I reckon the easiest way to clean the base and the top unit is just to get some car wash with a sponge and just sponge it all out, and then just hose it out and just let it dry outside. I've seen something online when someone was saying that cleaning up around the seal was an issue. You must be spraying stuff out everywhere for that to happen. I don't know, but I haven't come across that yet. This person was also talking about making their own toilet, so I don't know if there was a bit of commercial argy-bargy in that, but yeah, I haven't found that. And as I said, car wash, sponge, come home, take the cassettes out, wash it all out, spray it down with a hose, leave it outside to dry in the sun. It works a treat for me. With this thing, when I've come home, I've just cleaned this out, washed it out with hot water and vinegar. It seems clean enough. This is the cassette. When you use it, you've got to pull this handle out. So lift up the lid, pull this handle out the side, spray the bowl, plonk your bum down and do your business. As I said, we emptied this out on the way home. I think it's a good idea to get rid of it as soon as you can. After I've emptied this out at the dump point, I gave it a hose out. I couldn't smell anything then. When we got home, I filled it up full of hot water and some Domestos, which is a bathroom cleaner, let it sit for 10 minutes, cleaned it out, tipped all that out, then did the same with water and vinegar. It smells fine, I can't smell anything. But I have never been able to smell poo out of this. What you can smell is the chemical you put in it for these chemical cassettes. It's actually been quite nice to use, and we were both surprised at how good it was to use. We're pretty happy with this chemical cassette. Will we get a compostable one later and give that a go? Maybe. Maybe. I'm a YouTuber, so you've got to do that sort of stuff. I'll just introduce it when we go camping at a certain point and sort of say, well, you know, you've got to get this material, this peat moss or this sawdust, and you've got to sprinkle it over like icing a cake when you go and do a poo. So yep, we'll see how that one goes. But Donna has never used anything like this before. I've never used anything like this before. We've only got good things to say about this. I don't know what people expect out of a toilet system when camping, but this was good. If people are finding faults with this and saying there's something better on the market, it must be really, really good, because this was just easy to use and faultless. The other thing is to Joolca online, and I don't know if this got to go toilet, but with their other stuff, you can buy all your spare parts through them too. So yeah, seems to be a good company to deal with at this point of time. That about wraps it up today and the upgrades that we've done. That gives you a rough overview of what I've done, why I've done it, and a quick sort bubble of what I thought of each item. As things go on, as I said, we may do a full episode on some of these, other things I won't. But anyway, that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.